But it's really the cases that really I love the most are exactly the kinds of cases like the Randy Bailey case that pit an individual against the government when the government is just running roughshod over their rights and they have no one else to turn to. If your litigation center doesn't exist, that person's rights are going to be violated and there's nothing he or she can do about it. And we've had several of those cases, and I'd love to talk about all of them, but I will talk about this one because it has a personal consequence attached to it. In the town of Tempe, or the city of Tempe, a man named Tom Preston, who owns a tattoo studio in Mesa, Arizona, and has operated it for 20 years without a single customer complaint or a neighborhood complaint or anything like that. Again, a salt-of-the-earth guy in a business that is, you know, a little outside the mainstream, but increasingly inside the mainstream. He decided he wanted to open one in a college town, and Tempe is a college town. He found a vacant store in a strip mall that it has about a 50% vacancy rate. So this is an area that desperately needs economic activity. And he went through all the paperwork to get a permit for his new studio, went to the city of Tempe, and the staff was delighted. They said, this is great for the neighborhood. We're bringing in, you know, we've got all of these empty storefronts. We're bringing in a business that's probably going to thrive. We're going to attach some conditions to the permit. We're going to make him have, you know, restricted hours. He can't service minors and all of these things. And they gave him the permit. And then he signed a 5-year lease, and he invested $20,000 to meet the conditions that the city had put upon him and thought that was the end of the story. Turns out it was not. Some of the neighbors were unhappy about the decision, took the matter through the appeals process in the city, totally fine, they agreed, then went to the city council, and the city council said, you know, we think you're an upstanding businessman, but the perception is that you could hurt the neighborhood, and so we're going to revoke your permit. And at this point, the Prestons, he and his wife, were ruined. I mean, they had spent all of this money. They were on the hook with a 5-year lease that was not going to be able to be subleased. And I read about this when my kids were at gymnastics on a Saturday, and I said, this is not right at all. And I called up Tom Preston. I said, do you want to challenge this? And he said, we had a lawyer and we lost and I don't have any more money. And I said, guess what? I'm free. And this is something that really surprises people when you tell them that. And he said, well, heck, under those conditions, let's go. And we filed a lawsuit against the city of Tempe. And in this rare instance, we actually won in trial court. The trial court found that the city's actions were arbitrary and capricious and ordered the city to reinstate the permit. And again, the media was so favorable to our position, finding it interesting that the Goldwater Institute would represent a tattoo studio, although I learned that Senator Goldwater himself had a tattoo. So there was an interesting lineage there. And so at that point, especially with the media pressure, the city of Tempe decided not to appeal and to let the Prestons have their permit and open the business. Well, one of the things about these cases is that because of the human consequences of them, the lawyers tend to get very wrapped up in them and very emotionally attached to them. And somewhere along the way, I said, you know, if we win this case, I am going to be the first person to be inked at this new studio. And much to my wife's chagrin, I am a one-finger typist. I have typed everything that I have ever typed with this one index finger. And this index finger now bears a red scorpion on it. So this is the result of one of our cases. You too, Joe, can have one of these. Gives you something to look forward to. But I hope that this illustrates in just a very, very small way the realm of the possible for the litigation center here in Nevada. We now have, by the end of the year, we will have 15 ongoing cases. In fact, I forgot what one of them was yesterday. We have so many in all sorts of areas, from free speech to private property rights to freedom of enterprise. In fact, we filed one of the many lawsuits against Obamacare. And it is an exciting enterprise. It is not an enterprise for the faint of heart. You are going to lose some cases. Some of the cases that you lose will so inflame public opinion that you will win in the court of public opinion, and the legislature or the cities or county will do the right thing. And other cases are just going to be heartbreaking, and you're going to lose them, and you won't have a remedy. But I will tell you this categorically, and that is with your new litigation center, you are going to bring more freedom to Nevada than you would be without it. And with that, I encourage you to support it, to invest in it, and to tell everyone you know that help is on its way. Good luck, and go get them.